Like I was saying before, I should really just focus on what we're going to be doing and not give you all this weird transition shit. But I wanted to let you know that it was there. We may do some stuff like this just for fun, but let's focus on, let's go back to buttons for a sec. Now, we haven't really done anything with buttons. Let me get rid of this. No, I'll keep it for now. We haven't really done anything with buttons due to the fact that we haven't really needed them. But let's get a button in here. Well, there are a few different ways. You can do input type equals submit, and we've done this before. Name equals send, value equals send. These don't have to be the same. And then you would get a nice submit button right here. You know, actually, let me get rid of this. This is starting to make me nuts. Get rid of all that. And make sure you get rid of this, because if you don't, you can screw things up. Alright, so now nice. So you have this send button, and it's not going to do anything. We don't have a form. We don't have any place to send it to. You can also do input type button. Which is going to give you the same thing. Or you can just go button. But with buttons, you have to have an opening and closing tag, because, and then within it you just put blah. And the reason is because buttons are kind of, they're not inputs, they are just stuff. But now if you wanted to style that, you could just go button, and you could say background color blue, color white, text align center, and you get this little thing. And if you know, now if we make it bigger, if we say padding 15 pixels, and we say height 25 pixels, and we say width 100 pixels, you get that. Too much padding. Too much fruit. You get that, but as you can see, it's not really doing anything, and you have this border. Now you can also go button. You have to tell it when you hover, cursor, pointer, or whatever it is, because we went through all different types of cursors. But if you look, like the button's not, it doesn't even show that you're hovering over it. So you can also say background color pink or something like that, and then you can say color black. Right? And you can go like that. But if you notice, there's still this border there, right? So you can also say border none, right? And if you say border none, now there's no border there anymore. And it doesn't take up any space. As you can see, the blah moved up. You can also mess with and you can do this with input. In fact, I'll show you. We'll go like this. We'll just put an input type submit, value equals blah 2, blah 1, 2. And you could put that in there. Now, here's a way that you can say style the input itself without using a name or class or whatever. You can say input, and in brackets, type equals, and then submit in quotes. And then you can do background color black, color white, text align center, padding 5, height 25 pixels, width 100 pixels, border none, and then we can go input in brackets, type, submit, hover, and you can go background color orange, color black, and when you do that, you get that, see? And then we can also do cursor pointer. That's how you can tell CSS to style inputs. So like we can say input type equals text in quotes, and then open the brackets and say width 200 pixels, height 20 pixels, padding 5 pixels, and you know, we could just do that, and you'll see it'll work on that. And with this, you know how we got rid of the border and everything? This, it's not a border. We can get rid of the border, but we can say border none. In which case you'll get this weird thing where there's no border. But what if we want to get rid of that black line when you go into the placeholder? That's called the outline none. And then when you go in here, you notice it's not there anymore. See? So border, outline, border, outline. And then of course with the buttons and whatever, you can do a border radius. 5 pixels. Try to do small radiuses on smaller objects. I mean, that's just common sense. It's just common sense. See, they got that little rounded thing, right? Now, I mentioned variables. And what you do in variables, with variables, they're actually called declarations. You can, at the very top of the page, go colon root, open your brackets, and from here, you can just give like generalizations like background, color, RGBA, 0, 0, 0, 0.1, and you'll get that. Or what you can also do is you can give variable names. Main color, RGB. Well, we'll just go blue. And now, you don't have to go here and say color blue or background color blue. You can say background color, wait, let me go. Button. You can say background color var main color. Var in parentheses main color. And don't forget the double dashes. That's how it distinguishes a variable name. And when you hit refresh, see, it's still blue. Now that might not look like it solves anything if you're just doing a simple like blue or something like that. But if you have a color that's like, say, secondary color, you want to do one of these, or a hexadecimal, you don't want to remember that hexadecimal number. So you make it into a variable or a declaration, and then when you come down here, you can say, since it's not just blue, you can say secondary color, and then it'll be that color. So you don't have to worry about, oh wait, let me go back, and you could just give it a name. That's how it works, especially when you have lots of style sheets or extensive style sheets, and you don't want to remember every single, you know, you could do like alert, alert. And you can make it like some kind of special red, simply red, if you will. Okay. And then when you have like an error message pop up, you can go class equals error. You could say you screwed up. And then in here, you just put in a class error, and you can say var alert. Oh wait, yeah, no, color. Var alert. see you get your little red there. Isn't that nice? So again, you can use this root for the abstract stuff like the entire background color and stuff, or you can just give yourself, they're like variables, but again, they're called declarations. And within those declarations, it makes it easier for you to kind of reuse colors without having to actually go back and figure out what they were. So nifty little tip and tactic there. And really, I mean, at this point, I mean, there's so many other things I could show you that I never use. I'm trying to think of anything I might have forgotten. Like, I almost forgot the button stuff. Oh, yeah, by the way, with buttons, if you want a button that doesn't do any kind of hover, that doesn't, like, do it, like, if you were to say another action you can do is called active. So if you have button hover, you have button active. You can do background color of var main color, right? And this way, when you do you can, when you're clicking on it, it'll do that. It'll change that color. You can also do disabled. And when it's disabled, you can say background color, you know, RGB, 0022, and you can say color white or gray. And we'll go gray, make it look like it's out of order, right? And then you can just go to the button itself and go in this first bracket, disabled. And there you have it, it's disabled. You can't do anything with it. You can't click on it. Even if you have a function until you able it, it will always just be this. Okay? Again, we'll go into more of this when we start actually putting this together. I'm just trying to think if there's anything I might have forgotten, because if not, we'll start working on our actual site, which would be, I think it was just index, yeah, which would be this. And you'll notice we've got nothing going on here. We've got nothing going on here, we've got nothing going on here, we've got nothing going on here. Like we do with that, but we just don't really have anything we're really doing. So we got to style this up a bit because this looks like absolute dog manure. And I'm just trying to figure out, if I think of anything tomorrow before we start putting all this together, I'll come up with it. If not, we'll just do what we've been doing, use what we've been using, and we'll start styling this. And then after that, it's JavaScript, folks. That's when the fun really begins. I'll see you then.